back to another week of Glendon Performing Arts. This month, as you know, is our solos, duets, and trios month. We've done the solos, we've done the duets, and now it's time for trios and ensembles. So in dance and in performance, trios and ensembles are all about the synchronicity. So if you look at the Rockettes or cheerleading squad, or like just any big group of people dancing together, they're all in sync the whole time. If even one person is slightly off, then it can ruin the whole kind of aesthetic that you're going for. But if everybody's in sync, everybody's on time, then it looks so much better and so much cleaner, and it really ties everything together. So that's kind of what you want to be thinking about this week while we're working on ensemble work within dance. So I'm gonna teach you a little combo, and the counts will be really important for this one. So let's get started. You start with your legs about shoulder width apart, and you do 1 count of 8. You swing your hips side to side, and during those the first 4 counts of 8, your arms are slowly going up, and the more precise that you get with the movements, the better it looks with a big ensemble. So, for example, instead of just saying slowly bring your arms up, I would say the first hip, your arms are 45 degrees here. Your second hip, they're straight out to the side. Your third hip, they're hitting, just above 45 degrees or 90 degrees. And then your fourth hip, they're up. Your arms are up by your ears. Okay, so having that precision in those exact movements is how you make it look good with a bunch of people, with an ensemble, even just with a trio. Having those precise movements, those exact places where to put your arms, where to put your legs, legs, shoulder, feet apart, shoulder width apart, not kind of whatever. If they're exactly there, then and everybody does exactly the same, it'll look better all together. Okay, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the other 4 counts of 8, your hips keep going, but you come back down 5, 6, 7, 8. Kind of the opposite of what you just did. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And on your way back down, you want to push your hands out so your wrists are flexing and your palms are facing the sides. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From there, you jump you step onto this foot and you jump your feet together, and your arm punches up to the side. And what I like to do is I like to kind of do a circle with my elbow, circle and up. So step up, and if you're able to, you can jump into it, or if you would rather you could just do step touches. Yeah, if this was like, for example, for a performance or for something where you do need to be in sync, everybody would have to be doing the same thing. So either you choose everybody doing step touches, or everybody does the step jumps. And then depending on how precise and how you want everything to look, you can get even more precise with where your elbow is. On when you do this, is your elbow down, or is your elbow starting straight out to the side? Those little details are what really makes an ensemble piece look really good. Okay, so you go 1, 2, you do it 4 times, going the other way, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then from there you go back this way and you do a drag. Your hands go on your thighs and you go bounce, bounce, and then the other way, drag, bounce, bounce. Okay, so from the beginning you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's try up to there with music. Great job, everybody. Now let's move on. The next move is after you've done the drag, bounce, bounce, you're going to take this foot, you're going to take a step forward, and then you're going to pivot. So you keep your feet exactly where they are, and you just turn in the way that feels natural. So you wouldn't turn this way because you get blocked by your legs. But if you keep your feet planted where they are, you can naturally turn towards the back that way. Okay, so you take a step forward and you pivot. And while you do that, your arms go up. So again, with the precision, your arms go up straight by your ears, palms facing forward, and like fingers not spread out, they're together. Okay, so one, turn. On the turn, your arms go down. Different choreographers like them to go different ways. Sometimes they go to your hips. Sometimes they just go straight down. Sometimes they go, you hold your hips. For this dance, we're gonna go one and hold our hips. Okay, so one, or I guess our waist. We're gonna hold our waist, and then you're gonna skip 5, 6, 7, 8 around, depending on how much space you have. Either it's just to turn back around to face the front, or if you have a bit more space, you could do a bigger circle. At times like that, with a little 4 count of skips, that's a good traveling move. So if you ever wanted to change formations in an ensemble or a trio, that would be the time to do it. Depending on how spread out people are, 4 counts sometimes is enough and sometimes isn't enough, depending on what spacing you do have. But if you're just switching a couple of people, for example, if you're switching, a front line with a back line, that would be a good time to do it, because usually that you're not traveling too far, and it's easily doable with just the 4 counts, right? So you go pivot, turn, skip 6, 7, and 8. Yeah, and again with the precision, you can be as precise as where is the leg that's up when you're skipping? Is it by your ankle? Is it mid calf? Is it all the way up to your knee? How high is it? Is it some dances more in ballet? The skips can be kind of to the side, and then in that case, would your leg be in front of your supporting leg? Would be behind? Those little details, as I've been saying, those little details really make up a piece when you're thinking about precision. So yes, pivot, turn, you go 5, 6, 7, 8. From there, your arms are going to go up, and you're going to step touch to the side 4 times. So you go this way, 2, 3, 4. And as you can tell, I'm kind of just waving my hands back and forth. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 4 sways, but each sway is 2 counts. And then so you end on this way, then you're going to go back that way, but you're going to keep your arms nice and straight and do kind of like as if you were drawing a rainbow, all the way around. So you're facing the side, and you do 2 bounces. Okay, so you just did pivot, turn, skip 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 4 bounces instead of 2. Okay, so from there, after the bounces, you're going to drag towards the back. So you can make it small and just do a little step and point the front foot out towards the front. You can either do turn out or turn in. And again, that's one of those details that if you're in an ensemble would need to be decided upon, very precise with everybody. Or you can also make it bigger if you have room, instead of just doing like this. The more space you have, the bigger you can make it. And this is also where oftentimes on stages, in performance spaces, there's going to be lines. And often you'll go from either this line to that line during this drag, or you would go from in between, like in the middle of the 2 lines, to a specific line. All these little things, all these little details can be incorporated to make an ensemble piece look really good. Okay, so you do a drag to the back, your arms go into a diagonal. So if you were to look just at the arms, they would be one straight line diagonally across your body like this. Okay, so diagonal towards the back. You're going to cross your front leg in front of your back leg, and you're going to turn out of it, and then you're going to do another turn. So for the purposes of this video, you can do whatever kind of turn you want. If you want to just turn like I did, just kind of walk around in a circle, that's totally fine. If you want to do something more, a little bit more advanced, you can do a chaîné up on your relevé on your tippy toes, and whatever kind of turn you're comfortable with. So you're doing a total of 2 turns though. So you do drag, cross, turn out of it, then another turn. And that's on 5, 6, 7, 8. So you did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so the drag is on 1, 2, the cross is on 3, 4. The first turn out of it is 5, 6, 7, 8 is the second turn. And then the last part here, you're going to take 4 little steps forward, or big steps depending on how much space you have. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, but just walking is not as interesting as if you did something with your arms. So we're going to start in our bodies. So we're going to start kind of crouched over, and your arms are going to go straight down, and then they slowly come up in front of you, your arms right by your ears by the time you're at the top. And as I mentioned earlier with the arms, the more precise you want to be, the cleaner it's going to look with an ensemble piece. So you can do the same as when we were doing the arms at the beginning and really place those arms at different counts. So we just did the turns 5, 6, 7, 8. These walks are on 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can say 1 is right down here. 2 is at, a 45-degree angle. 3 is at, shoulder height. 4 is all the way up. Really making all these little decisions to make it precise as a choreographer is something that, or as a dancer, is something that can really make a trio and make an ensemble piece really work. Okay, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're kind of gonna do like the sways that we did before, but it's a little bit faster, more of a hop. So you go 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so now we're gonna do the dance without the music, just with counts, and then we will try it with music. If at any point, remember, if you want to slow down, go back, it is up to you. Go at your own pace. Okay, so you want to start with your feet shoulder width apart, remember? And we go 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great job. Now let's try it with music. Great job, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed learning this little combo, and I hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit about trio and ensemble work in dance. That is it for the dance portion of this week, but do not leave just yet, because right after this, we have Zachary coming in with part 3 of our music workshop this month, and then we have Westy with their trio and ensemble work drama workshop for our last week of January. And as always, like, follow, subscribe, comment on all of our social medias, YouTube, Discord, Facebook, Instagram, Gmail, anywhere and everywhere we are there. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any requests, any suggestions for future workshops, any comments, concerns, anything, we'd love to hear from you. Even if you just like watching these videos and you want to just let us know, we'd love to hear from you. See ya.
Hey everybody, welcome to the third and final part of our Tomorrow is Coming series. What I have here is the SATB, arrangement of the song, soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. We're going to try the four-part harmony. Four-part harmony is very common in choirs. Everyone starts this first part out in unison. Tomorrow is coming. Tomorrow is coming. Let's try that together. Right off the bat, the voices split up, providing different melodies and harmonies. I'll start with the soprano line. Just like every other day, it's always been that way, and that's the only thing I know. Next, here's how the alto line goes. Just like every other day, it's always been that way, and that's the only thing I know. The tenor goes like this. Just like every day, I know. And finally, the bass goes like this. Just like every day, I know. I'll play the chords for the first chorus so that you can practice each part if you can. Now here's a breakdown of the first verse by part, starting with soprano. But I know you've got a story you can tell, I see. So sing it from your heart even when you're alone. And don't keep it to yourself, no, put it in a song. The alto skips the first 2.5 bars, starts right here. I see it in your face, I know you know it well. So sing when you're alone. No, put it in a song. The tenor part is kind of similar to the soprano with the few differences. But I know you've got a story you can tell, I see. So sing it from your heart even when you're alone. No, put it in a song. And the bass starts at the same time as the alto. I see it in your face, I know you know it well. So sing when you're alone, alone. No, no, put it in a song. I'll play the chords of the first verse so you can try it out on your part of choice. I'll show you how the second chorus goes next. Cause tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming. When the moonlight's on, you know another day is coming. That's the only thing I know. And I'm pretty sure you recognize this from the alto section last. Tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, another day is gone. As with what we've seen before, the tenor section is similar to the soprano. Tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming. When the moonlight's on, you know another day is gone, and that's the only thing I know. And last but not least, here's how the bass goes. Tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, another day is gone. I'll play the chorus's chords once again so you could learn each part. Now in the first part of this next verse, the melody is split between the tenor and the bass at first, then the soprano. So the soprano doesn't start until about bar 37 and a half, and here's how their part goes. No, not because they want to be stars, but if they tell you every little thing you do is wrong, no, put it in a song. The alto part is similar to what we've seen in the previous arrangement. Not because they want to be stars, but if they tell you everything you do is wrong, don't let it bring you down, no, put it in a song. Now let's take a look at how the tenor uses the melody first. and everybody should play their guitars. But if they tell you what you do is wrong, no, put it in a song. And here's how the bass goes. And everybody should play their guitars. But if they tell you what you do is wrong, no, put it in a song, put it in a song. I'll play the chords back a few times so you can learn each part. Let's take a look at the third chorus now. 'Cause tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, just like every other day. It's always been that way, that's the only thing I know. Alto now. Tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, every other day. Now the tenor. Tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, just like every other day. It's always been that way, and that's the only thing I know. And the bass starts at the same time as the alto. Tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, every other day. Let's try singing this together. Let's try the bridge now, starting with soprano and tenor. Oh, everything's gonna be okay. And everything's gonna be alright. As you can see, they have the exact same part. Let's look at the alto next. Oh, everything's gonna be okay. And everything's gonna be alright. Again, this is the same as the two-part arrangement. Finally, the bass. Oh, everything's Let's try this together. Next up, let's take a look at the third verse. The soprano starts out with the melody like so. So screaming from the top of the hill and screaming to the sky until the wind is still. When life is so good, don't keep it to yourself. No, put it in a song. Oh, don't keep it to yourself. No, put it in a song. Notice how the melody changes hands, as we'll see later. So we'll start from bar 70 here because that's where everybody else starts, starting with the alto. Screaming, screaming till the wind is so still. You wanna make it last. No, put it in a song. No, don't keep it to yourself. No, put it in a song. Also from the two-part arrangement there, here's how the tenor goes. Scream it to the wind. When life is so good, you wanna make it last long. No, 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 put it in a song. So don't keep, no, put it in a song. You're gonna have to aim for those high notes. Finally, in the bass, we have this. Scream it to the wind. When life is so good, you wanna make it last long. Don't keep it to yourself, no, put it in a song. Oh, don't keep it to yourself, no, put it in a song. I'll play the chords of this third verse so you can learn the melodies. now for our final chorus. Let's start with the soprano. 'Cause tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming. When the moonlight's on, you know another day is gone, and that's the only thing I know. Tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming. Just like every other day, it's always been that way, and that's the only thing I know. So you've got the melody throughout the whole of final bars. Let's take a look at the harmony in the alto. 'Cause tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, another day is gone. Tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, every other day. Here's how the tenor section goes. 'Cause tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming. When the moonlight's on, you know another day is gone, and that's the only thing I know. Yeah, tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming. Just like every other day, it's always been that way, and that's the only thing I know. And finally, let's take a look at the bass. 'Cause tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, another day is gone. Tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, every other day. Let's try this final chorus together. Now, before I play this song one last time, I'll run us all through each part of the song once more. Tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, just like every other day, it's always been that way, that's the only thing I know. But I know you've got a story you can tell, I see. So sing it from your heart even when you're alone. And don't keep it to yourself, no, put it Scream it till the wind is so still. You wanna make it last. No, put it in a song. Oh, don't keep it to yourself. No, put it in a song. 'Cause tomorrow is coming. Tomorrow is coming. Tomorrow is coming. Another day is gone. Tomorrow is coming. Tomorrow is coming. Tomorrow is coming. Every other day. Next up is the tenor. Tomorrow is coming. Tomorrow is coming. Just like every day. I know. But I know you've got a story you can tell. I see. So sing it from your heart, even when you're alone. No, put it in a song. 'Cause tomorrow is coming. Tomorrow is coming. When the moonlight's on, you know another day is gone. That's the only thing I know. And everybody should play their guitars. But if they tell you what you do is wrong, no, put it in a song. 'Cause tomorrow is coming. Tomorrow is coming. Just like every other day, it's always been that way. And that's the only thing I know. Oh, everything's gonna be okay. And everything's gonna be alright. Scream it to the wind. When life is so good, you wanna make it last long. No, put it in a song. Oh, don't. No, put it in a song. 'Cause tomorrow is coming. Tomorrow is coming. When the moonlight's on, you know another day is gone. And that's the only thing I know. Tomorrow is coming. Tomorrow is coming. Just like every other day, it's always been that way. And that's the only thing I know. And last but not least, the bass section. Tomorrow is coming. Tomorrow is coming. Just like every day. I know. I see it in your face, I know you know it well. So sing when you're alone. No Now, so that you can try singing the song all together, I'm gonna sing the melody and play the chords for the song. Tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, just like every other day. It's always been that way, and that's the only thing I know. But I know you've got a story you can tell. I see it in your face, I know you know it well. So sing it from your heart even when you're alone. And don't keep it to yourself, no, put it in a song. 'Cause tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming. When the moonlight's on, you know another day is coming. That's the only thing I know. And everybody should play their guitars. No, not because they wanna be stars, but if they tell you every little thing you do is wrong, don't let it bring you down, no, put it in a song. 'Cause tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, just like every other day. It's always been that way, that's the only thing I know. Oh, everything's gonna be okay. And everything's gonna be alright. So stream from the top of the hill and scream into the sky till the wind is still. When life is so good you wanna make it last long. Don't keep it to yourself, no, put it in a song. Oh, don't keep it to yourself, no, put it in a song. 'Cause tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming. When the moonlight's on, you know another day is coming. That's the only thing I know. Tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming, just like every other day. It's always been that way, that's the only thing I know. And that officially brings us to the end of Tomorrow is Coming. I will see you in February for Valentine's Day. Bye-bye.
Hello, folks. Welcome to this week's GPA drama session. I excuse myself. I am a mess. My room is a mess. Lionheart Productions main stage is next week, and I am in charge of all the props and puppets, and so my life is falling apart as it always does in Tech Week before a show. If you're an actor, you know how it is, right? Just me? Well, anyways, today I'm here to share some tips with you about how to act in big group scenes. If you're at all like me, it's super easy to get lost, overwhelmed, and confused when there are many characters on stage all talking at once. Those conversations with more than 3 or so characters can very easily become a lot. Usually there's multiple threads of plot going on, there's multiple threads of just topic of conversation going on. There can be many lines in between the 2 different times that you speak. There can be a lot of non sequiturs where the topic changes really quickly, and it can just be very difficult to remember your lines and when you need to say them. So, I have essentially 2 big tips for you with this. The first one is about attention. Keeping track of these big conversations like this is all about where you direct your attention. Now, this is of course dictated by your character. So some characters are going to be super involved in the conversation. These characters are the easiest in terms of directing your attention because this character can watch everyone that's speaking. You can look from person to person, track the whole conversation like a little game of tennis, hopefully without being that obvious about it, but you can track everything that's going on much more easier when your character is directly engaged in the conversation because you can watch the other actors' body language and keep track of who's talking and when, and kind of use that patterning to help cue yourself. If your character, however, is not fully engaged in the conversation or is doing something else or anything like that, you still need to be able to direct your attention towards the conversation so that you can follow the thread of what's happening. When you're doing other things, that means splitting your attention, dissecting it, and diverting it to the two different places. The one where you're doing something like writing a letter or making dinner or whatever else is happening during the scene. So as you're doing these things, you can glance over at the conversation. It's perfectly natural in a conversation, even if you're not directly involved in what's happening for the entire time. For just as humans, we glance to where the action is happening. We glance to where people are talking. So even if we're not directly involved in the conversation, it is okay to glance up and see what's happening and follow through that way. It also is an exercise for your ears, trying to make sure that as you're paying attention here with your hands to what you're doing, you're listening to what's happening. And a way to make this a little bit easier on yourself can be to full on just choreograph and plan what you're doing with your hands. And then you can match those things up to some of your cue lines and things like that so that the action and the lines go together to help you remember when you're going to be the one to speak. In terms of choreographing and memorizing your actions, you should also be memorizing this conversation. And I know it is so tempting to only learn your lines and the ones that cue you. But when you're in these big group conversations, especially if they're fast-paced, it's so much easier if you have a really strong idea of what's happening always throughout the entire scene. If you know exactly what everyone else is saying, you can be prepared to say your own lines, and you won't get lost as often as to how long it is before you speak again, or what's happening, where you should be looking, all of those sorts of things. If the conversation is too much for you to memorize, I understand, I really do, then at minimum, 3 or so lines ahead of yours, depending on the length of the lines, should be fully memorized so that you could recite them yourselves. Those 3 lines, and then your line, so that you can track those lines and be ready to speak before it's your turn. If you're ready to speak before you need to speak, there's not going to be as much of a pause of your brain catching up with, oh, that was my cue. What's my line? Say my line. If your brain is already thinking ahead by a few lines, oh, it's almost my cue, what's my line, catches you up so that when it's time to say your line, you can say your line. And the final really important thing that I have to say about managing these group conversations is, as much as possible, genuinely engage in the conversation. And I know it's difficult when I'm talking about memorizing lines and purposefully directing your attention certain places. But in the end, as actors, we are trying to make what's happening on the stage seem as much as possible like it is actually happening, which means your character doesn't know what's going to be said next, doesn't know necessarily who's going to speak next, and is only going to speak themselves when something inspires them to speak up. So if you genuinely engage in the conversation as your character, you can understand and pay attention and know, okay, this is how I feel about what all of these other people are saying. This is how I'm reacting. Oh, this line is what's going to inspire me to speak. I say my next line because this line was said, and engage with the conversation. Whether it be that that line annoyed you, so you're going to say something to express your annoyance, or it excited you and you're responding with excitement, or whatever it is. If you look at the way your character is engaging in the conversation and you genuinely listen and engage in the conversation yourself while you're acting it, it will be much easier to keep track of it. Now, big group scenes, as overwhelming and complicated as they can be, are also some of my favorite scenes. Because there's a lot happening, it's very interesting to watch as an audience member. Which means that as you're in these scenes, there's a lot of really fun things you can get to do as an actor. Whether that's standing in the background and making faces to react to what's happening with the other characters who are speaking around you, whether it's engaging naturally with whatever you're doing with your hands and using it during the conversation, or even some fun theater things that happen sometimes with ensemble scenes. For example, it could be that you're standing in the background of a scene as an ensemble member, and you're standing there, and you have to pretend to talk. That is very difficult. So often I have ended up in party scenes or things where I'm standing off to the side, talking to another ensemble member, but we're not allowed to actually talk out loud because, of course, that would distract from what's happening in the main conversation on the stage. So, a couple tips for this really fun activity of pretending to talk while other people are talking. There is an age-old thing that says that if you mouth the word watermelon, it looks like you're speaking. Again, you just say watermelon, 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 watermelon. And your lips move in enough variety of positions that it doesn't look like you're just going like a weird little muppet. If you happen to be one of the lucky people who can kind of read lips and your scene partner who's standing talking with you can also read lips, then you can genuinely just have a silent conversation reading each other's lips. Very lucky for you. I'm jealous, honestly, I have to say. But if not, you can always fall back onto the idea of this watermelon, saying watermelon over and over silently, moving your lips. But one of the keys to making sure you don't look like a fool while talking in the background of a scene is to act natural, which is way harder than it sounds. There's a habit among younger or more inexperienced actors, or even people who've been doing it for a long time and just never thought about it, to kind of look like a character from The Sims while in the background of a scene. And what I mean by that is doing like that. So your lips move in what, if you spoke out loud, would be Simlish gibberish. Just a random sounds, and your actions are too big and your face is too big for actually having a conversation. So if you can avoid looking like a sim, it's going to work so much better for this conversation that you're having, where you make eye contact, you do natural, smaller hand motions, you don't move your face too much, you don't move your lips more than you need to, you just kind of talk, just and it helps if you actually pretend to say words in your head so that you're mouthing those specific words rather than just random sounds. The last really fun little ensemble group thing I want to talk about is something that not necessarily many people have heard of, but is one of my absolute favorite things in plays, in big group scenes. It's called a cascade. I learned about this in high school when we were doing like vocal arrangements in our drama course. And since then, I incorporate it regularly in plays that I write myself because I just think they're the coolest thing. What a cascade is it's when a whole bunch of different characters, or potentially just two characters, say a bunch of lines right one after the other so quickly that the lines nearly overlap. It is so difficult to do, but when it's done right, it sounds so cool. And in order to do that, it is the extreme version of being prepared ahead of your line. So paying attention to what the people are saying ahead of you so that the second the person before you speaks, you start speaking. When they're on their last couple of syllables, you're already beginning to speak. And then the delay and the way people will hear it, it sounds like it was just continuous speaking without actually any overlap. It's really neat and definitely a very good exercise to help you manage group conversations and learning how to do it without having large pauses to think and prepare. So if you're ever in the opportunity where you have a big group of people and you need to prepare for a scene, you can try doing your lines in a cascade and having it so that everyone speaks right one after the other without any pauses. And it will really help to start making sense of the thread of the conversation. And if you ever get an opportunity to incorporate it in a play, it's so cool to see. It's so cool to be a part of. I will spread the word of cascades until the day I die. I think they're so cool. If you come to Lionheart Productions Fridge Festival at the end of the semester, you'll probably see my play, which will probably have a cascade or two in it. Maybe, perhaps. Anyways, enough promoing Lionheart production stuff on the Glendon Performing Arts channel. I'm sorry. I have my fingers in all of the theater pies at Glendon. So yes, when having these big group conversations, just genuinely engage, direct your attention, memorize your lines, make sure you know what's happening, and just enjoy yourself, engage in the conversation, and you'll suddenly find that it's a lot less overwhelming than it felt before. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video today. As always, like, subscribe, follow us on social media, all of those wonderful things. Have a good day. Bye.